The Get Better podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The opinions expressed are those of the participants. Please remember to gamble responsibly.
Up until that point, the biggest shock to me was Edmonton getting swept.
That was
by the Jets. Like that to me, I didn't see that coming at all. I was like, man, that's shocking for sure. And then Toronto basically says, hold my beer, and goes out and leads a series 3-1, and turns around and loses 3 straight.
3-1.
Welcome to the Get Better podcast for June 2nd. Been a while actually since we've done a podcast. Took a couple weeks off. It's been a busy time. Lots happening in the world of sports. I'm here with Troy. Troy, how are you, pal?
Good, buddy. Good, man. Like let's just be clear. We got a little lazy last week. Tried to play the social game. Didn't want to do the editing of the podcast. Let's just pump out some social stuff. Trying some new things. So back at it. I love that we're doing a formal podcast again. Where it all began.
Yeah, exactly. Exciting to get into it. So as I mentioned, lots happening right now in and around the world of sports. We are through round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I think the last podcast we talked about, I think it was the podcast. Yeah, we talked about a fun little way to gamble with some buddies around the conference finals and picking who we think is going to make it to those finals. So let's start there with a bit of a recap, because I think we had very differing opinions when we approached this sort of fun, friendly wager around who we thought was going to make it to the conference finals. You came right hot out of the gates, taking the favorites.
You gave me the favorites. You gave it to me, and I took it.
I can't remember who had the first pick. I think I don't remember, quite honestly.
You took it. You won. Yeah. Paper, scissors, rock.
But let's just recap again here. Yeah. Who we had. Okay, so Troy had Pittsburgh, Toronto, Carolina, Colorado.
What a joke.
Yeah, the number one seeds, and so finished first in their division across the board in all the divisions. You felt overly confident about that. You felt very good about it, as you would all great hockey teams. I think I made a point somewhere in there that there's going to be some upsets. So let's just quickly look at what I picked. I had Tampa Bay, Boston, Vegas, and Edmonton. So when we look at where we sit right now, I've got 3 teams still in the mix with Tampa Bay, Boston, and Vegas. And you've got 2 teams in the mix with Carolina and Colorado. So
and Carolina's down 2-0.
Yeah. So
not looking good.
Yeah, not looking good. Looking good for Tampa Bay. Another shocking upset that we might see here. Again, I don't want to get
that one too.
No, but you know what? I don't want to get ahead of myself, because we all saw what happened with Toronto. Maybe the biggest shock coming out of the first round, and probably the biggest shock in the way that it happened. Up until that point, the biggest shock to me was Edmonton getting swept.
Yeah,
by the Jets. Like that to me, I didn't see that coming at all. I was like, wow, that's shocking for sure. And then Toronto basically says, hold my beer, and goes out and leads a series 3-1, and turns around and loses 3 straight.
3-1 again, like this.
Yeah.
What a joke. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I that one hurt. That one hurt. Should have been an easy one, and it wasn't. It tells me a lot about this team. And like my hot take, Boone, I know this is one of your boys, but I put this a lot on Austin Matthews. And I'm going to be clear why. We've had this debate before about how I believe he's a shooter.
This ought to be good.
I'm telling you right now. Do you remember early in game 1 where he had that little thing? Somebody kind of ragdolled him a bit, and he's just like smiling to the crowd. I'm like, cool. That kind of funny the first time. Mm-hmm. Then it happened again. Mm-hmm. It happened again where he got ragdolled to the ground, and he sat there with his little smile like this. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, you're the best player on our team, and you're acting like this. This is what our guys, this is how you're rallying the troops, with your little coy smile in the playoffs, where you got to be tough. Big big question marks. Now you've heard me say it, trust the process. I believe in the growth. The team, as these guys will get older, they'll get better and wiser. But that guy needs to give his head a shake. Like, he's got to toughen up. Like, that was really, really disappointing. I hated how soft that team is still. I thought we added some grit, but we didn't in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think I saw one finally, a big hit, like with like a minute and a half left in that game.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah. I will agree with you. There's some issues in that locker room. I think there's some issues with the culture. I think there's a couple of things that have to be figured out. I agree that they were soft. I know when you look at Austin and think he's a shooter and that's it.
Sure.
That's where you and I disagree, because I actually think that Austin is not a bad two-way player. I think he fights hard when he loses the puck, when he doesn't have the puck. I think he can actually, I think he does come back to the zone. I'll give him that. I think he has the ability to be a great two-way centerman, and he's potentially could be a very prolific scorer based on the pace and what he did this year. The track record in the playoffs is horrendous for both him and Marner.
Terrible.
But I think more importantly, like,
I don't
when
mind
I look
Marner,
at this,
go on. Yeah.
I know you don't mind Marner, but he hasn't shown up in the playoffs yet. And don't get me wrong, Matthews probably doesn't have the success that he had this year without Marner. I think Marner, that tandem was pretty unstoppable through the regular season. You have to give credit to Montreal for doing what they did and shutting them down. You absolutely have to give credit where credit is due there. But I think it's a bigger issue with the Leafs. I think there's a problem.
It was like the same stuff. It was like so frustrating watching the same things to get in the zone. I'm like,
how do you not show up for like game 6 and 7? Like, how do you not show up for those games? Game 7 in particular, for me, I finished that game. I was disgusted. I thought to myself, you guys, I don't feel bad for a you know who I felt bad for? I felt bad for Jason Spezza, because Jason Spezza might have been one of the best players in that series.
I'm like, why? I'm like, get him on a good line. I'm like, he was really impressive. I actually kind of like Spezza, to be honest. Never liked him all his career. No,
it's so true.
Like, I like this guy.
It's so true.
He's got good attitude.
Yeah, won me over. But like, I think when you look at like Dubas did all the right things with this team for the most part. Like, yes, Joe Thornton, I mean, we know he's not going to come in there and make a big impact with his play, but at the end of the day, he's there to, but he's also there he's there to support the culture in the room. He's there to be the veteran presence, right? Same as when you bring in Simmons with some grit. Foligno in the end, again, you're bringing in some guys with experience, former captains, right? You bring in Bogosian. I actually like the blue line. I think the blue line's good, decent. I think the blue line is actually
Foligno had to be hurt, eh?
He was, yeah. Well, he sat out. He
had to be. Like, he had, like, I feel like something was going to come out. Like, because he didn't look like himself in there.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I think there's some fundamental issues with the Maple Leafs, and they need to figure that out.
Luke plays GM for a second. Do you move one of the big three?
Yes. I think you shake it up 100%. And by the big three, you're Tavares, Matthews, and Marner.
Sorry. We have a different big three.
You're talking about Nylander in the third.
I was not Tavares. I'm like, Tavares is good in my books. He stays. He's there. The other guy, the core that's been here for a bit.
Yeah.
Not the free agent that signed. Yeah. One of those three.
Yeah. I think you got to move one of those three. Who do you move?
I think it's who you get the most for.
Is it who you get the most for? Why?
You know what? Here's what I'm going to take.
Are you going to tell me you're going to move Matthews? Is that what you're going to say right now?
So here's what I'm going to say. What could you get from Matthews?
Oh.
Would you trade Matthews for like a McKinnon right now?
I don't know that. Is there value 1-to-1 there? I don't know.
I don't know. The contract for McKinnon is amazing.
Okay, here's the other one, which we've heard a ton.
But they would not that they ever would. Not that
here's one that we heard coming, and people are talking about a lot. Eichel for Marner. I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know if that value's on par either. No. Like it's a tough one. But the other thing you have to consider too is with Marner, you might, if you get the chance to move that contract, you might move that contract.
Yeah, it's true.
Right. Anyways, it's going to be interesting to see what they end up doing. We could talk about this all day.
Oh yeah, we should do. I could do a whole thing on this.
It's going to be interesting to see. Yeah,
play trade game. We should do that a podcast,
easy.
just straight like, okay, scenario. Would you do this deal?
Yeah, seriously, it's like
let's do it.
It's it's fun to play GM.
I just want to leave with I'm questioning the integrity of Austin Matthews right now on the ice. Flat out. There's something missing. The fact that in my mind that his greatest game he's ever played for the Maple Leafs is the very first game he ever played, that sits with me poorly.
But it's such a high standard. What do you expect the guy to score 4 goals every game?
Just the way he played. He looked great up there. I was so jacked up about it. I'm like, this guy. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong.
But he looked great. He looked great in many games throughout the regular season this year.
Fine.
He looked great.
Fine. Love him, Toronto. Love him.
Oh my God. The smile. I kind of see what you're saying.
That was just not like, you don't follow that into battle. Come on, guys.
But I think
Come on to battle.
I think the intention was
Come
for him
fight
to
with
say
me.
like, I'm not gonna play this game.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you get under my skin.
I'm not gonna let you play tough. You can just throw me to the ground.
My skin.
Don't worry, guys. Throw me to the ground. I'll do nothing. I'll just roll here and smile.
But
that's what he told that team. That's what he told his other followers. That let's go.
Yeah, I also don't disagree that he could be a little bit tougher, no question. He could play a tougher role. He could throw the weight around a little bit more. I just don't think that's his game.
No, last time he did, he separated his shoulder. Last time he hit somebody.
There you go. So we can't have that happen.
All right, let's get into
anyways,
betting.
I digress. Let's get into let's get back into the betting scene here. So this week on this podcast, because we are in the playoffs for both the NHL and NBA, we came across a betting theory that we're going to dissect, talk a little bit about, and then I think put it to the test over the next couple of weeks. So we want to explain that theory. It is a relatively well-known betting theory. It's called the Zig Zag theory. It works predominantly with, and Gov, I'm going to let you give sort of the explanation, but it does work predominantly with the NHL and NBA playoffs based on the 7-game series structures of the 2-2-1-1-1, based on how those series break out. Yeah. And I guess the simplistic definition, before you go into full detail on it, is basically you're betting and you're wagering on a combination of home court, home ice advantage plus momentum, really, like who's due, so to speak. Right? Yeah. Like that's really what it comes down to. But I know it
was due. I like it for that theory.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into it a little bit more. There's a couple things to consider and look at. I don't know, Gov, if you want to just sort of give the rundown on the ZigZag.
First of all, let's have a little fun with it. Is immediately again, somebody has always claimed as the guys that invented this, a man named Tony Sinalis, I believe. I'm probably butchering that last name. There's a book on him. Apparently, it's called "A True Las Vegas Legend Tells It All: The Tony Sinalis Story."
Tony Sinalis story. Let's look that up on Amazon. Maybe order that book.
We should order it. Yeah. Book review. I feel like it wasn't. Didn't we have another Tony?
Yeah, the MLB, which we have to circle back and follow that theory.
Yeah,
and put that theory to the test. We do have.
What was his name again?
Tony Stoffo, Tony Staffo.
What's up, man? What's up with Tonys in the gambling world?
Yeah, mate, man, I don't know.
They're locked in.
Yeah, the Tonys. But one of them was bound to be Anthony, and just went with Tony for sure.
Hey, it's funny enough. Our first guest that ever was mentioned on the podcast was an Anthony.
Or first comment was Anthony.
Yeah. Let's get some more fan participation out there. By the way, like ask us some questions out there, followers.
Yeah,
let's go.
Give us some more content, please. We need a little more to record on. So if you've got anything that you'd like us to. But hey, we can continue to look at these theories, and hopefully maybe as we uncover with the ZigZag theory, it's a lucrative one and we uncover something here. So let's dive a little bit deeper into it. Yeah.
So here's how it works. Again, it's pretty much betting on when someone's due. So scenario, home team wins game 1 at home. The bet is to bet the road team to win that second game on the road. So theory is that the odds after the home team wins the first game, the odds for them to win the second game is going to be highly in their favor. The public is going to bet on that, seeing the trend. However, 1/3 of the time, the visiting team does cover. So you're getting great odds there to cover. Vice versa. Visiting team wins game 1 of the series on the road. The home team has a 75% chance, basically, based on the stats, of winning game 2. So you could bet that one with confidence on the money line and maybe even against the spread. Okay. So that's the first 2 parts of the theory.
2 scenarios.
Part 3 of this scenario. Home team wins games 1 and game 2. Backs against the wall, visiting team goes back home to play that game. No one wants to go down 3-0. That is the bet. I can't remember the stats right off the top of my head, but it was
with that visiting team, the visiting team, which is basically the underdog team. So coming home to play game 3, I think that stat wasn't it like 75 or 76% of the time they're going to win. Again, you're basing on the fact that they're due to go down 3-0.
Yeah.
No
team in the NBA has ever come back down from 3-0. I think it's happened a few times in the NHL, but that's the one they need to win. So they really put it all on the line, and you usually get a win there. And then the fourth option to that, in particular for NHL betting, and only NHL betting really, is when the team does go down 3-0, bet against the sweep happening. 57% of the time, the team does not sweep.
Yeah.
So again, these are those key stats that we kind of look for. Anytime we see the numbers that are over 55%, the whole proportional betting theory, betting 10% of your wager, if you always found a bet like that all the time, you'll win in the long run.
Yeah. So really, at the end of the day, this is like a game 2-3 bet is what you're looking at.
2 and 3. Yeah.
So again, as we talked about, like you're really looking at that home court, home ice advantage, plus the momentum, what's coming in. So you're going to see who wins that first game and then start to place your wagers from there. Now, as with everything, we talk about it all the time, there's variables to this. So things that you need to watch out for. It's not just as simple as taking any series, any matchup and betting it in this sort of strategy. You've got to consider a couple of the variables. Do your research on the matchup itself, what happened in the regular season between these 2 teams. You've got to look at specific players that are impact players against particular teams, particular goalies, particular defenses, things like that can ultimately sway your decision-making with regards to momentum. So, I mean, in a simplistic sense, you can just follow the theory straight up. But there are some variables that you're going to want to watch for and take into consideration when you're making these picks, as we say with any betting strategy or theory. So those are just some things that you need to be cognizant of. Injuries is another one, suspensions, things like that could play a role into this. Those are all elements that you need to take into account. For example, like let's take tonight, for example. We look at Montreal and Winnipeg. Right. So Montreal underdog coming into Winnipeg playing at home. Last I checked, did they end up winning?
It's 5-3. Yeah. They won 5-3.
They won. So Winnipeg or Montreal ends up winning 5-3.
Yeah.
Right. So in that case, like obviously there's a couple variables to take into account. When I'm looking at that game up front, you're not betting that game anyways in this year. You're waiting to see sort of what plays out. Yep. But Montreal's got some crazy momentum coming out of that Toronto series. Carey Price is looking extremely, extremely hot right now. He's playing extremely well. So not surprising to see Montreal come in and win. This is now a great opportunity knowing coming into game 2, you've got Winnipeg, who is that home ice advantage. They that in this theory, you're betting that home team to win game 2. Right. Correct. Let's say obviously,
and we're betting it hard because this is the ideal scenario of that home team that was the favorite lost. Let's go. They got to get number 2.
Yeah. And the kind of the theory that plays out in a lot of people when you talk about that is when you look at a team that wins that first game, feels pretty good about it. Coaching staff, players, everyone feels really good about it. They're probably not going to change much in regards to the scheme and how they approach the game and the things that they did. If you're coming out of the game and you lost, you're probably you're dissecting a little bit more. What are the things that you need to change? What are some of the things that you need to do differently to win that next game? So you're putting a little bit more emphasis on making those changes to ultimately impact the outcome and win the game. So that's why you're betting on that team, that home favorite again, to win that game too. Let's say for whatever reason they don't win that game. Now they're coming back into Montreal down 2 in that theory. You're again betting Winnipeg to win that game 3.
For sure. No one's going down 3
on the road. You're not going to go down 3. Obviously, that you're playing desperation hockey at that point in time. You got to get a win.
So and that works out. So just looking at that, the other one that we saw right away was the in this scenario today is Vegas and Colorado. So Colorado obviously wins game 1. Mm-hmm. The Knights tonight is the bet, and if they lose again, it's an even bigger bet when they're back at home in 2 days from now. Yeah,
exactly right. And then and that's the other thing with this too that I think we should touch on is figuring out if you're going to bet the money line or the puck line, or you're going to bet the spread, and not just based on what you're feeling more comfortable with. And there may be some variables in that you want to look at. Like, so let's say, for example, you're betting Vegas in game. So obviously, tonight you're betting Vegas to try to win and beat Colorado. You're either betting that on the puck line, or if you're not totally confident, you think Colorado's playing really hot, but you think Vegas can keep it a tight game because they're going to come in. They've made some changes. They've got to try to win this game, not go down 2. You might just bet the spread for them to keep it tight. Little,
not so that's all odds, but it's there.
Exactly. You're not maybe getting as much odds or as big a payout, but at the end of the day, that's a little bit more of a conservative bet. And the other thing is just to identify how much you're going to wager here. There's no set rule on that. I think everybody just needs to be cognizant of bankroll management, how much you're going to put against it. So you decide, are you betting, a $10 bet against all these games? You're betting 25, you're betting 50, whatever that is, whatever you're most comfortable with. You got to just be cognizant of your bankroll management when you're making those bets. There's no hard set. You need to bet these amounts of this amount of money in each of these games.
So what do you think about maybe the NBA is starting in round 2? We'll have 4 series there. Let's play it out.
Yeah, I think let's play it out. Let's even look at some of the hockey too and follow it along and see what happens over the course of the next couple of weeks. Let's play it out. Let's see how it goes, and then maybe for the next podcast we do, let's break it down. We'll identify these are the decisions we made, these were the picks we made, and identify the overall outcome and successes. And we'll do conversely too. Like if we'll look at it from the other angles, if we had gone the other way and not made these picks, sort of what that would have looked like. So we'll break it all down and hopefully at the end of it come up with a potential solution. So next year or for round 3,
we're cruising,
we get into this point where you're like, okay, you've got a little bit of theory. There's some confidence there. It's kind of like the March Madness. We've got a set thing. We know we can make some money on that potentially, and hopefully that's something that you can put into practice. So that's the ZigZag theory.
That's it. ZigZag. Done.
Super fun. Like we said, we'll check out the next couple of weeks, see how things go, report back to you guys. Fun time, lots happening, lots of great series, both the NBA and the NHL. Good time of year too. It's getting into warm weather, right? Starting to feel a little bit warmer.
We're due
golf. I know. Yeah, we haven't gotten out for an official round.
We have not. We said we do 5.
Yeah. So we haven't gone out for one of those. We did
get some balls this last week.
We got out last week. We did play in a little bit of a fun tournament, scramble style. Shout out to our other 2 playing partners, Cause and Sims. For coming out.
Cause and Sims.
Yeah, and playing with us. But a couple things that I took away from this first sort of round together with you. So it's tough with the first round. We're playing. It's the first time I saw in the golf club in a long time, coming out, shaking off the rust. But we get, I don't even remember what hole it is, but we get to one specific hole and you reach in the bag and you pull out, and let's just set the scene first before we do that. Gorgeous day.
Beautiful day.
Bluebird skies. Like not a cloud in the sky. It is blue. Bluebird, as they say. You reach into the golf bag and you pull out, I'm not kidding, a sky blue colored golf ball. And the first thing I'm thinking to myself is
there's 4 of them in my bag.
The first thing I'm thinking to myself is, no wonder this guy can't break 100. He can't see the ball off the tee. Sure enough, like you hit a sky blue golf ball on a bluebird day. You hit it off the tee and you're like, where'd that go? Like
lost
I
it.
can't see it. It's gone. It's literally lost in the sky. It's blending in with the sky.
Do you lose it in the air?
We end up finding it. Sure enough, your second shot, I think you shanked it into the cornfield on the right. So we lost that ball anyway. So it was gone. I was surprised we found it in the first place. We have no idea where it went off the tee. But then we get to the next tee and you reach in the bag and you pull out a green golf ball. We're playing golf. We're surrounded by forest. We're surrounded by grass.
Let's just be clear. It wasn't forest green. Okay. It wasn't a true forest green.
Thank God.
Funny golf ball. That would be that.
Yeah. I'll give you credit that there was a little bit of lime green tinge to it. Like if that was a shade darker in green, like that's like finding a needle in a haystack. So already I'm like, Gub, you can't break 100 because you're playing with golf balls that blend in with your surroundings. Like you can't even see them, man. So some steps in the process. I know you've been tackling the game. Where's the game at right now?
It's bad, man. I've got the best score so far this year, and I've been out 4 times is 107. So I got to find a way to shave 7 strokes off in our 5 games.
7 strokes. Well,
trust me, I'm dying. I'm calling guy. Like the guy that helped me last year gave me a few lessons. I'm like, come on, are we ready? He's like, my home course isn't ready yet. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, how hard is it to just go? Let's go to a driving range. I'm giving you money. Who cares? Just stand beside me at a driving range, man. Tell me what to do.
So we know. So
I'm dying out here.
At least have to.
I've gotten worse. I don't know what's going on. Like I'm over top of the ball, and everything's going through. I'm like, okay, sit back, down, my arms down. Like I'm losing my mind, man. Like, and it's just going.
Probably thinking too much.
Oh,
now.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm like, I don't want paying for a steak at Jacobs, man. Let's go.
I'm tasting it right now. I'm salivating just thinking about that delicious steak.
I tell you, when we play though, I'm gonna be locked in, like strategize. Like driver might go away. I might have to play this like straight, like maybe just no club that is gonna shank me into the woods. I can't lose a ball. That's my problem. I lose too many balls.
Well, let's start maybe with playing with proper colored golf balls, and we'll see where we can get from there.
At the end of the season, man.
Discount. First of all, nothing screams more of a hack than playing with colored golf balls.
Okay, they came in orange, green, blue, and red.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I know.
Why would you make a sky blue colored golf ball?
Like,
there's
those
no
metallic ones. No, there's just bad colored blue balls.
And again, not the play to ever play with metallic covered golf balls. But anyways, we got to get one in soon. Coming up.
Yeah, let's do it really soon.
Weather's getting nice.
We need to get this. We need to get this.
Get round 1 in the books.
Oh man, I hope I do it right off round 1. Just cut this right away.
Nah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna get very much inside your head in round 1. And we'll see where we go. Man. It's gonna be a fun one. All right, that's a wrap for this week. We'll circle back on the ZigZag theory. Check it out. Should be a fun one. Enjoy watching some playoff basketball and hockey, and we'll chat with you all again soon.
Thanks for listening.